For a prince among goal scorers, a return to the Palace. 12 years ago, Steve Coppell took a chance on an unknown from a Sunday League team. Ian Wright became instrumental in the club's successes of the early 90s, but since moving to Arsenal, he's had the indecency to score against Palace every time he's played them. Amongst those trying to break that sequence is defender Herman Hreidarsson, born on a small volcanic island off the coast of Iceland and recommended to the club by the disc jockey David Jensen's wife, herself Icelandic. Palace considered man-marking Dennis Bergkamp, but then dropped the idea, so Hreidarsson is part of a back three. Neil Shipperley returns to add weight to the attack. Jamie Smith's arrival from Wolves is still awaited, and Lombardo's fellow Italian Ivano Bonetti is on the bench. Mark Overmars' ankle injury means the Arsenal midfield is disrupted for the first time in the Premiership this season. Luis Boa-Morte takes the Dutchman's place. Lee Dixon's groin injury gives another chance to Gilles Grimandi. Bristolian Steve Dunn is this afternoon's referee. Palace yet to win a home game. They did beat Wimbledon here in what technically was an away game. Arsenal defending the Premiership's only remaining unbeaten record, and also a very fine record on this ground. Only one defeat in 14 visits. Vieira. Arsenal starting the game as very strong favourites. Grimandi to Parler. Cut out by Simon Roger. And this is the Palace skipper Andy Roberts. Dean Gordon, well found and well played to Warhurst. Vieira. Parler. Roger is the Palace player with him. Simon Roger bought for only £1,000 from Bognor Regis Town. Grimandi. Now Warhurst finding Lombardo. The first blow struck in anger. Lombardo has been Palace's main inspiration this season so far. Vieira. I'm not surprised that Jamie Fullerton's gone down. This is Ray Parler for Arsenal. Corner conceded by Hreidarsson. Petit with the corner. Linegan's header away. Bergkamp, wonderful control. And through the legs of Gordon. Five waiting for the cross. Adams. Well, Kevin Miller is going to have to resign himself to a busy afternoon, I suspect. Bergkamp. Boa-Morte. Palace funneling back, but this is Ian Wright. And that's a clear obstruction by Andy Linegan. Former teammates Linegan and Wright until earlier this year. A foul, but not in the view of the referee a booking. Not necessarily in the ideal position for Bergkamp, this free kick. But one's wary of saying that because here he is. And some shirt pulling surely by Edworthy on Boa-Morte. And at first sight with the naked eye that looked a clear penalty. Play's allowed to continue. This is Dean Gordon. Arsenal are indignant that they didn't get a spot kick. Fullerton, poor first touch. Parler. Bergkamp. Parler. Wright's waiting. Linegan was in the way. And there, just look at the amount of Boa-Morte's shirt that Edworthy had hold of, and that, for me, is the clearest of penalties. Linegan. Oh, mistake now. Could let in Ian Wright. Good save. First time he's been called upon, but it's Wright again. Appeals for handball against Linegan. That was the first effort, which brought a decent stop from Kevin Miller. This was the contentious moment. Well, it would be very harsh to give a penalty for that. Palace must presumably be heartened by their display in the first half, in at least keeping Arsenal more or less at bay, but as an attacking force we didn't see too much of them. They had enough of the ball, but there was little sign of a cutting edge, so perhaps that's one of the things that Steve Coppell and Ray Lewington will have been working on at half-time. Raimondi. Bergkamp beaten in the air by Pedersen. Warhurst. Parler. Ian Wright. Roberts is backpedaling. It's still Wright. And it's still Wright. And it was Edworthy who ultimately got in the way. The ball seemed to be attached to Ian Wright by a piece of string. Edworthy. Again, Palace are outnumbered. It's Winterburn, and this is Petit. Edworthy. Only two inside the penalty area. And Edworthy was fouled after the ball had gone by Luis Boamorte. This was the moment that earned the booking. Late and ungainly. Roger with the free kick. Oh, and it came off Adams. I think the Arsenal captain was surprised it got as far as him. But it was a teasing free kick. Whipped in by Roger. The aerial battalions in front of Adams perhaps confused him. David Platt is being sent on by Arsenal with nearly an hour gone in place of Luis Boamorte. The end of his first Premiership start. Platt has scored in both his last two games. Bergkamp. Rather unnecessarily involved with Fullerton. Now Bergkamp could be in serious trouble here. If he receives a yellow card here and referee Dunn has one poised in his hand, then the player of the month for August and September will miss most of November, including a home fixture with Manchester United. For that challenge, it's a heavy price to pay. Pedersen. Warhurst, this time with room to turn. Shipley through the middle, couldn't find him. Now Warhurst. Vieira. Right to his left. Fullerton tugging at his arm. Bergkamp. Cleverly disguised. Dean Gordon. Adams. Platt. Roberts. Oh, careless. This is Bergkamp. Wright's inside him. And here's Petit. Well, there was a moment of indecision between Petit and Wright as to who was going to take that ball. Had Petit been more decisive? Who knows? Vieira. Bergkamp. Parler. Well, that's an act of desperation. Bergkamp. Mendes. Bergkamp. It's not really been Bergkamp's sort of game. He's been unable to impose himself for any length of time. And moments like that have been few and far between. Barely 5 minutes away from a goalless draw for the team that started the day top of the Premiership. Vieira. Arsenal famed in days of yore for last-minute goals. Roger. That's a good ball to Schipperle. Undar's inside him. But really, there were precious few options for Neil Schipperle. Petit. Adams. A late foray forward from the captain. Bergkamp. Bonetti. Oh, that was an outrageous attempt by Bergkamp to win a free kick. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt and suggest it was a delayed reaction, but really. Seaman can't pick the ball up, and now he could be in trouble. Did he bring Undar down? No, the free kick's gone the other way. Well, half the Palace coaching staff are off the bench. Well, in fairness, perhaps the initial foul was by Undar, but then Seaman dragged him down. So the free kick presumably was given for the first infringement. Roberts. There's the final whistle. And I would imagine that the Eagles will consider it's been a better day for them than for the Gunners. First half controversy over the penalty that wasn't given. It should have gone to Arsenal. Ian Wright fails to score against his former club for the first time. And Arsene Wenger must now manage without Dennis Bergkamp for 3 matches, including a meeting with the reigning champions Manchester United after his 5th booking of the season today. But moments of inspiration were very, very rare. There was a paucity of entertainment, and unsurprisingly, this London derby has finished in stalemate. Looking at the penalty incident, what was your view?
I thought it was a penalty, but of course the referee has to make a quick decision, and it's not easy, but I would like to see it again. But overall we looked solid, and I must say that it was a typical derby game, more fight than game, but it was a real fight, and we had to be very strong to go away with a point at the end.
So overall, you're not too unhappy?
No, I'm not unhappy, because when you play in the championship, you must adapt to every circumstances, and today was a more fight, and we could do it, and we looked, I think, disciplined, strong, and offensively we were not as strong as we used to be, but that happens sometimes.
Andy, you've done what many other sides have failed to do conspicuously and stopped Ian Wright from scoring, and Dennis Bergkamp as well, so what's the secret?
I think it was just a good overall team performance, you know. We knew we had to be on our toes against Arsenal because they've been in fine form this season, so like I say, I think it was a very good team effort.
Well, I think for the fans today, it was good to see that we could compete. You know, we played Arsenal 2 weeks ago, Manchester United 2 weeks ago at Old Trafford, and a lot of people said they won in a canter, and we haven't won here as yet. We played some really good teams, Chelsea and Blackburn, and I think the gulf between the top teams and the rest has been really noticeable. And I've said all along, we've got to learn quickly, and I think today we did apply what we have learned, and we were quite resolute in what we were doing. We still need to be a lot more positive going forward. We need to get more numbers going forward so we can score goals to give our defence breathing time. But again, that's the quality of the individual. We can't buy the top world star players. But in terms of effort, once again, I just have to compliment my players. It was fabulous.
Well, a paucity of entertainment, said John Champion there, and he was probably right. But I mean, full marks to Crystal Palace for holding Arsenal. Arsenal have been in such tremendous form.
Well, I think they made it very, very difficult for Arsenal, a bit like Everton today with Liverpool, where I think they were very physical, were Crystal Palace. I know in the week that they'd toyed with the idea of man-marking both Wright and Bergkamp. Well, they scrapped that, but they played the three at the back. And I say it was a physical aspect more than anything from Crystal Palace, and they crowded Arsenal out. Again, there was a spectre of the penalty. You know, there's 2 penalty appeals, which would both have gone Arsenal's way, and I think we can clear that up very, very shortly. And this would be the first one, was from the free kick. Bergkamp's free kick crashes into the wall, and it just spins up. And just watch Edworthy. He just literally hauls back Boa Morte. He's in the penalty area, a most definite penalty. And the referee was very, very close to that as well. This is Ian Wright's shot, well saved by Miller. Poor clearance. Back it comes to Wright, on his left foot. And this really case of ball to hand more than anything. When we had
The phrase we used earlier.
we certainly did, but that was definitely ball to hand and definitely not a penalty. But that was the closest that Arsenal really came to scoring today. And I think the great thing for Crystal Palace was that as well as they played, they never really looked like scoring, but they did manage to upset Dennis Bergkamp.
Yes, because, I mean, he's played so brilliantly. He's been everybody's man of the season so far, but today he was slightly off.
Well, man of the season, goal of the season, is in line for player of the season, but some days you have a bad day at the office, and today would certainly be one of them. I mean, the closest he ever came to scoring was late in the second half, little cutback from Mendes as a substitute for Parlour, and just a little bit of class here. Hit it very, very early. On target, I think Miller would have struggled to save that. Parlour goes down the right-hand side. Bergkamp just cuts back. Nice ball in from Parlour. Not a good first touch, but an excellent second touch. He feels aggrieved at this stage. He thinks it's a penalty. And that really was at the start of his frustration. Winterburn rolls a ball into him. Linnigan, his former teammate, clatters through him at the back. And I honestly believe he never really regained his temper from then. This, when he got space late in the game, and you expect Bergkamp to deliver the telling cross. He didn't. Palace forced him away, always going away from goal. They were always there in numbers. Again, felt aggrieved, thought he should have had a foul. And this was really the end to a very bad day for him. A ball in from Adams. He thinks he's past the defender. The defender, Ryderson, takes a ball off him, and Bergkamp just has a lash at him. Costs him a booking. And he's going to miss 3 games, and of course he misses the big Manchester United fixture.
Costly for them, Mike.
This is turning to a home match at Highbury. But another clean sheet for you in Rome.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're always pleased to have those. I suppose we all are. But now it almost went wrong right at the end, didn't it? There was that header which had been going on goal. Didn't look as though you were doing anything about it. You were sort of... Well, all right, he screwed it up that end. I'm not doing anything back here, so that could have been all... No, not quite all over, because there would still be the playoffs to get through.
Yeah, but who would like to go to Russia?
No. Well, it's only for a game. The trouble with being a goalkeeper is that people tend to remember the bad moments rather than the good moments. So, you know, strikers always remember the goals they score, and a few misses, well, you know, that...
Exactly, but that's the life of a goalie.
Yeah. So you get fed up with people reminding you of Naeem scoring from the halfway line and that Truman free kick for England. Gasser in the semi-final at Wembley. You know, those horrible moments.
Yeah, people do, but it helps being 6'4" and 15.5 stone.
Yes. Okay. But you don't... But the other thing that seems to be unfair now, thinking about goalkeeping, is that you don't get the moments to sort of celebrate. But you know, if you do a save, you don't go charging to the corner flag with the jersey over your head or anything like that. You just go, and they sort of pat you on the back.
There's been a couple of times, you know, obviously Sampdoria. I'm sure you saw that.
Oh yes, I did. Yes.
You know, all the way down to the other end.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
And then the penalty save against Spain.
But the penalty shootout, which is such a dreadful thing for everybody else to watch or to participate in, is kind of your moment of glory.
Yeah,
now.
exactly. Yeah. You know, it's my chance of getting the glory or the limelight.
Yeah. So do you enjoy it?
I look forward to it, yeah, because like you said, the goalkeeper's not supposed to save them.
Yeah.
And if I guess right that with the size I am, I'm nearly always going to get it.
But is that irritating if you dive and they put it down the middle where you're just you're standing there? That must be extremely annoying.
A wee bit.
But what is the hardest thing about being a goalkeeper? Is it the diving saves, or avoiding that silly mistake, or wearing those stupid jerseys? Is that the...
No, there's been a few of them jerseys around, but no, the worst thing about it is the fear of making a big mistake.
Yeah.
You know, but that's it. You know, you've got to find out what the lows are like to enjoy the highs.
Yes. So what made you become a goalkeeper? Could you not play, you know, kicking around very well, or were you the little fat kid who could, you know, I'll put Seaman in goal. Go on, let's go.
I was 6'3" when I was 4.
Really? So but there was always a size thing. You didn't fancy being a centre forward or a centre half.
From being 3 and 4, I've always wanted to be a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You know, just something that clicked with me.
Yeah.
I've tried being a striker and things. You know, I've scored 9 goals in one half and all that sort of stuff. But that's not for me.
Have you... Well, I think it'd be quite useful. I think if you. So when you're playing a game. Is it a tiring process being a goalkeeper? Because we sometimes get the impression you haven't got much to do.
Yeah, it's not physical. It's the mental side.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, there's games where I have nothing to do and then I've got to make a save in the last minute.
Now, is those the games you hate, or do you hate the ones when you've got a lot to do? And
No, I hate them.
Yeah.
I would rather have nothing to do.
Now, of course, the thing you also have, I suppose, to bear is that football fans can be a bit sort of abusive and a bit naughty. And, you know, you are the goalkeeper, you're very exposed.
Yeah.
Now, you've also got a slightly funny name.
Just a little bit.
So
it's as in Sailor.
Yes, as in Sailor, yes. Hello, Sailor, yeah, all that kind of stuff. But obviously one wouldn't think of any other reason for it being funny. But I suppose it doesn't matter now because your name is now on everybody's lips and people are, you know, a fan. They're a fan. But I mean, I've heard crowds giving you some stick. I suppose
it's a bit strange.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of girls saying, you know, we love you, Seaman.
Yes. But you just have to swallow your pride, and you just get on with it, and you're not put off by that. You're
not at all. It's been with me for quite a while.
Yeah. What about the fans generally? Because you know, obviously we have the game in Rome on our minds still. Now you're out there doing your best, trying to do your best for England, whichever team playing for England, and you've got those sort of mindless, ugly, stupid people like David Mellor, Tony Banks there. I mean, does that put you off?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No,
but there were the fighting on the terraces and that kind of thing.
You can, like on Saturday night, you know, it was bad because you couldn't just see it. You know, you could hear it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of naughty stuff going on.
Yeah. So is that kind of, does your concentration lapse and you think, oh no?
Yeah, just a little bit, but obviously not too much on Saturday night.
Yeah. Well, you seem to stick to your task, apart from that last moment when you're already packing to go home. I think it's the last minute with you you've got to watch. It's staying awake.
No, it was never in. Never ever going in.
Yeah.
Believe that, you'll believe anything.
But it's a dreadful position, goalkeeping, because if you lose your place as an outfield player, there's a chance you can get in a slightly different position. But if you're not in favour, then you're out, and that's you gone.
I've been there. You know, when I was playing for England, I got kicked out there. But,
yes. So Graham Taylor, would you respect his judgment on football? Because he didn't take to you, did he?
No, not at all. He's a very nice man, but
yeah.
I'll reserve my judgment.
And early in your career, when you first started playing for Leeds, which was your team, the team you supported, they rejected you as well.
Yeah, at 19 I was kicked out, told I weren't good enough.
And what did they find wrong with you? Were you I mean...
Had a finger missing.
No, do you think they were right and you hadn't quite learned your trade yet?
I don't know what it was. You know, it was just such a big blow for me personally. You know, it's like, what do you do now? I was going to be a baker's boy or whatever.
Yeah.
And I got a chance at Peterborough, and then from there it's just gone on and on.
So, to be positive about it, Glenn Hoddle is the manager. Now, do you rate him as a manager? Obviously, you've got to say yes, but could you expect as your trip to France is finished?
Exactly.
But are you? You know, I mean, in what way do you think he's stamped his authority on the side, or is it just you're a good bunch of lads and you all play together? Or?
We're a great bunch of lads. You know, we've got experience there, and there's a lot of youngsters coming through.
Yeah.
You know, Terry Venables did a great job in Euro '96, and for Glenn to follow on and achieve what he's done now is brilliant.
Yeah. And did you have any inkling he was going through this, you know, in the thing in his personal life this week? Has that suddenly hit the stories? Was that something you all knew about and helped him with?
The first I knew was, you know, like last night. So it's a surprise to everybody.
Yeah. So you're saying that on to France there's a real chance of winning this time?
I think it's about time.
Yeah. After football, have you got the ambitions to stay in football, like as a manager, or would you broadcasting?
Maybe broadcast. I don't know.
Well, you could be a newsreader because you've got the newsreader's outfit. You've got the suit on top and the jeans underneath. Obviously dressed now. Anyway, look, let's
have a look.
There's nothing down there to interest you, I wouldn't have thought. Now, there may be some questions for the audience. Has anybody got a gentleman over there?
David, do you consider yourself a sex symbol?
A sex symbol.
Well, there's a few whoops there. Well, you don't do anything for me, but... I didn't know you were so fruity. I'm glad I don't shower with you every day, but...
No, I don't know. It's just me. It's just the way I am. Yeah. Next question.
Yeah. Any more questions? Yes, sir, with the beard. Well, I hope it's sir.
It's real. Apart from yourself, who do you think was the best English goalkeeper?
No, I would say Peter Shilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. One of the other guys that I used to really love watching was Bruce Grobbelaar.
Yes.
You know, he was always one of my heroes.
Yeah, and good man for a betting tip as well, apparently. So. Do you hang out with him at all and his Malaysian chums, or?
Not at all.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us, David Seaman. Okay.
No main de Dieu in this case, just the yellow card sanction. And more frustration followed. Vieira's last goal dates back to January, and he wasn't destined to break the Barron spell here. The barrier at the other end was David Seaman, surpassing Jack Kelsey's record for appearances in Arsenal's goal. Julian Joachim could have spoiled his day, but couldn't quite. It all ended in tears. Late in the game, Arsenal thought they might have been due a penalty for Ugo Ehiog's handball. Appeal denied, and another French temperament about to boil over. Emmanuel Petit's hands met referee Durkin's chest, or was it vice versa? A player getting off on a plea of self-defence against a referee would be some sort of record. Red card and a misconduct charge swiftly following. A day when Arsenal should have